we sent 8 photographers to 9 different countries throughout the world to cover AIDS and AIDS treatment. The first images that you're seeing now are from Jonas Bendixen. This first subject is quite interesting because Jonas was looking at the transformative effects that antiretroviral treatment had for each subject. You really see a tremendous difference in each patient. And not only did Jonas photograph before, the photographers went to each country in November, and then they returned 17 weeks later, usually 4 months after, to see if how the patients were doing and what the effects were. The second photographer that we're showing you is Jim Goldberg. Again, from a photography standpoint, you're seeing a completely different style and completely different technique. Jim used 3.5 millimeter large format, digital, Polaroid, black and white, video, any kind of medium that he could get his hands on, he basically used to try to tell the stories of each of his patients. This is Paolo Pellegrin. He went to Mali. This first story is a very sad story, and what you're seeing is actually the mother of this patient, and what each photographer tried to do was more than just photograph each person, but understand the environment, understand the history, understand the loss that an individual would have if they're no longer around. And you'll see in some of the documenting that the photographers actually took pictures of photographs so that you could understand who these people were. Eli Reed went to Peru. In each country, the set of circumstances around the patients was quite different. In Peru, the stigma and ignorance of AIDS is quite pervasive, and most people that actually are too nervous to even go in and get a test to see if they have AIDS, and if they do, they definitely don't tell anybody. So this was a story of actually a chef that found out, and you can see, I don't know if you saw in some of the imagery, you really see a dramatic before and after in that patient. I think it's 30 to 40 pounds that each person gains during this process. Alex Maioli went to Russia. His technique from a photography standpoint was, again, to sort of understand the subjects in an in-depth way. So he spent time with each family. He looked at old photographs. He photographed the environments. Again, it was the environment, I think, in Russia that really told the story. And in Russia, patients contracted HIV more through drug use, needles, dirty needles. And unfortunately, in these 2 stories, both of these patients did not survive. But what the photographer is trying to do is show the life what the life was like, and what the life is like when they're no longer here. Steve McCurry went to Vietnam. I think what's interesting when you're looking at the collective of this project is to see how diverse the people are, to see how diverse the situations in which they are contracting HIV, and the environment in which they are taken care of. In Vietnam, it's very family-oriented, and you'll see all of the imagery. Each patient is usually supported very much by the family. It's all part of a unit, so you can understand when someone loses their life, how devastating it actually is to the families that are involved. Jonas Bendixen, this was his presentation. I think it's interesting that each photographer, when they went off and shot this work, they were thinking about the ways in which this work would be seen and the way people would engage in this work. So not only did the photographers shoot still photography, they also did video, they also did sound recordings, and they thought about concepts before they went out of how they wanted to sort of understand this. And obviously, when they were in the field, it might have altered based off what they saw. But this is Jonas's example where you saw sort of a before series of imagery, and then it linked with those Polaroids that I mentioned before to the when he returned and what the patients looked like. And when you see these Polaroids, you really see a dramatic difference from the beginning to the end. Each photographer in their presentation of this material in the exhibition, and I think you'll see it in the book, and I think you'll see it on the website, and you'll see it in the multimedia pieces that were created. This is Jim Goldberg's work. He had in the exhibition actual videos of each subject looking out at you. So as you walked by and as you engaged in the exhibition, you actually saw, and all of these images were hung at eye level. So you're actually engaging with another person. So it's not just a statistic, it's not just a number. These are people that could be in the same room with you.